Jake makes a lot of noise too when he gets excited. So just like when you guys are running around and playing, you make loud noises, Jake does that same thing. So don't be afraid of him if he barks, okay? He does get a little bit loud. This is a big room, so it probably won't be too bad, but sometimes it echoes, okay? I am Jim, and this is Jake. Jake is one of my buddies. We have 4 dogs at home, and they're all Australian Shepherds. Jake is an Australian Shepherd. And what his job is he's supposed to herd things, like keep sheep together or ducks together, stuff like that on a farm. But seeing most of our dogs nowadays, most of our dogs don't really have real jobs anymore. So as a dog scout person and as a dog trainer, I always tell people that you have to find something for your dog to do. Different dogs like to do different things. So part of what we do is we go out and we teach the kids. We do dog trick shows, and this is just a little bit of what Jake can actually do. Jake has over 50 different tricks that he can do, and a lot of them have big props and stuff. So this is just a really small part of what Jake can actually do. Yep, and dogs do sneeze. Actually, did you guys know that dogs can actually catch colds? Yeah, they can actually catch colds too. They don't happen as much, but they can actually catch colds too. All right, so what we're going to do, like I say, Jake will make some noise. He is going to be running around. And some of what I do, he may get really close to you. Just don't touch Jake when he's working, okay? I think we have permission at the end that the kids can actually say hi to Jake. Is that, I'm assuming? I hope so, because I was going to let you guys. So whoever wants to come up and meet Jake and pet Jake, you can do that at the very end, okay? But there's something that's really important. How many people in here have dogs? Cool, that is really good. Some good news and some bad news, all right? The bad news is all dogs can bite. Even your dogs at home can bite and hurt people, okay? I actually have a program to help teach kids how to be safe around dogs, and that's your own dogs as well. So you have to remember that. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit at the end how to safely approach a dog. All right, that's really important. I do not want you guys just come running up to Jake. Jake likes people, but he's actually a little bit shy, so he will back away. And if you scare him, he may turn around and look at you or even bark at you saying, hey, why are you doing that to me? And that is actually a way a dog communicates. The good news is almost all dogs will not bite unless you provoke them or you actually do something they don't really like. The hard part is most humans don't know how to speak dog. All right? I know that sounds kind of funny, but it's true. But dogs will give you a warning. And sometimes that warning is just staring at you. Or maybe they lick their lips. Or maybe they yawn. Those are all signals that I'm not comfortable. They can't come out and tell you, hey, please stay away from me. Okay, I'm not really comfortable. One moment, okay? I'll answer your question. So that's important to remember. All right, dogs do communicate to people, but the problem is most of the time us people don't know how to talk dog. So that's really important. You had one question?
Yeah. When you approach the dog, don't you have to get the same height of it?
No, you don't necessarily have to get the same height. Sometimes, especially, I'm an average height guy, and if I got a really, really little dog, I will come down to him. But for you guys, just because right now you guys are still growing, you don't have to bend down to see Jake. That's okay. But you don't want to go over the top of him like that. My dogs let me do that, and they're pretty comfortable with people because we do all kinds of things with our dogs, and they're in front of people all the time. And you can see Jake is telling me to shut up and get to work. I'll answer some questions at the end, okay, guys? So we're going to go ahead and get started with our show. Yep, okay. Oh, see, he took off his leash. He's going, hey, it's time to go to work. Come here. Sit. Can everybody say hi to Jake? You can do it. That's kind of lame. That's better. All right, when we always get started at all our shows, pause it. We like to say our prayers, and we hope we do a We hope we do a really good job for you guys, and we hope you have fun today. Amen. Okay, good boy. All right, down. Some of Jake's simple tricks is he can scratch his nose on command. You got an itchy nose? Yeah, good boy. Jake is a very smart dog, and what Jake is actually trying to do is he's trying to figure out how he can get food. All right, there's two tools that we use in Dog Scouts and in positive-based training. One of them is a clicker. This makes a noise when Jake does something good. And how we pay our dogs, just like mom and dad get paid a paycheck from doing their job, Jake gets food. So down, cross. And so I clicked to show him that that's what I wanted him to do. So this tool tells Jake that he did something really good. And you can see Jake is actually calmed down a little bit because he knows when this comes out. Jake knows this tool. It is like the school bell going off inside here. When the school bell goes off, it's like, okay, sit down, be quiet, it's time to go to work, right? This is the same thing with my dogs. They know that this means it's work time. And that's why Jake just stopped barking, because he was going, okay, I got to listen to Dad, and then I'm going to do something, and I'm going to get my treat for it, okay, my paycheck. Okay? Pretty? Good boy. Up. There you go. And right now, Jake is really excited, so we're going to do a couple things to get him warmed up a little bit. One of Jake's favorite things is anything that's involved in jumping. He loves to jump. So, sit. And he's been sitting around all morning waiting for me because I was at a place doing some work, and so he's kind of like revved up and ready to go. So let's see how he does. You guys can make noise and you can cheer Jake on, okay? Don't be afraid. Come on, Jake. Think you can do these little ones? Good boy. Up. Now that is definitely much harder because they're small little rings. And this floor is actually pretty good for him today. Sometimes we come into gyms and the floors are really slippery on his feet. Stay. Now you guys ain't afraid, right? No. So I can get really close? Yeah. No? No? So I should come over here? Okay. Stay. Jake, up! How many of you guys at home are really, really good at cleaning your room?
Oh, man.
At least we have a bunch of honest kids here today. When I ask that question and the parents are home, I don't think I ever get a parent who raises their hand. But that's good that you guys are honest. Who is saying no? Oh no, I definitely don't. I heard a couple. But we've actually taught Jake and our other dogs to actually pick up after themselves. Our dogs have a lot of toys at home, from ropes to balls and all kinds of stuff to play with. So we do like them to clean up after themselves, huh, Jake? Okay, get your toy. Get it. Clean up. Clean up. Oh, yeah. Clean up. Good boy. Right there. Clean up. Yeah! Now, if it's just like you guys, after mom and dad clean up after you guys go back out and take your toys and play with them? Yeah. My toy box means nothing. 5 minutes later, all the toys are back outside. Because our dogs will tell us when they want to play. So we're going to do a couple jumps. Jake has several championships One of his championships is a sport called agility. Hey, Jake. And dogs are always very curious. Jake was going, I like that yellow thing over there. Now, one of the sports that Jake does is what's called agility. I don't know if you guys ever seen it on TV. They go over jumps. They go over a thing that's 6 feet high called an A-frame. They go on these boards that go up really high into the air. And dogs love to play these games. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you a couple of jumps that Jake can do and how much control he has. All right, it's easy just to go over one jump. I mean, that's easy for a dog. Sit. Stay. So one of the things is it is really hard for any human to outrace a dog. Even little dogs can be really fast. So one of the things we teach our dogs is stay. So he has to stay there until I release him. All right? Sometimes that's hard, especially when I'm not paying attention to him. But he can stay there, hopefully as long as I want him to. And then we'll actually go, Jake, come, come, go. Good boy.
Yay!
So that's really easy, right? So to make it a little bit harder, now I can actually start telling him the directions that I want him to go into. And that makes it a lot harder. Stay. So what do you think we should do? Just have him go around?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can I make it a little bit even harder instead of I go that way, come back in the middle, and then that way?
Yeah.
That's even harder, right? So let's see how good we can do at this. Because they're pretty close together. Come here. Okay. Oh. Ready? Go, go, go. Here. He's slipping on the floor. He's slipping on the floor, so I gotta go a little bit slower with him. Good boy. He's having a little bit of a hard time. You can see his feet slipping. So on grass or a floor that's not slippery, Jake has really, really good control. He can come right around those really close. Okay? What? You don't know what you want? And Jake is also looking for permission. When he stopped there, you saw him stop that first time? He stopped like that because he wasn't sure that I was going to send him over. And so he was waiting for permission. Now I know I'm kind of getting a little bit thirsty, so if you guys don't mind if I get a drink, not all I leash. Thank you. Yes, Jake does know how to get his leash. He does like to go outside and walk around. No, you can't have that one. Come here. Come on, give me a drink. No, but Jake is 7.5 years old, but in terms of human age, and I don't mean, you guys have all heard that dogs age like 7 years for every human age, but in terms of his brain age, he never really gets older than 8 or 9 year old. So how old are you guys? 9. Uh-oh. I put myself in a pickle. How many here close the refrigerator all the time when they go in? That's good. Jake doesn't always close the refrigerator. All right. My next trick for you guys is I'm going to show you Jake's most dangerous trick. All right. How high do people think Jake can go? To the halfway? Okay, we got halfway. You think the top? So most of you guys think the top, huh? Now this is really hard for a dog. Now just so you guys know, dogs are taught to do this sometimes for like police departments or organizations called search and rescue. Because there are times if a building collapses or a tornado or something like that, they can teach dogs to go search for people. So this is actually fun for me and for Jake, but it is very difficult for a dog. Because when we climb a ladder, we have 2 hands and 2 feet. Jake has 4 feet. So it is much harder for them. All right? And I will not let Jake jump down from this ladder, okay? you guys will see me actually pick him up to take him off. And part of that is even a human, if they went up 8 feet, would never jump off the ladder. And the only way Jake could do that is to literally jump off, and I don't want him to get hurt. Okay? Jake does earn me a living. And what I mean by that is that when we do birthday parties, I get paid for that. All right? But Jake is also my buddy. All right? My dogs do sleep in bed with us. All right? So as a friend, as a buddy, I always want to make sure I protect my dog. And humans should always protect their dogs. All right? And we keep them safe. That is our job when we own a dog. All right? Many of us have heard of guard dogs. You guys heard of guard dogs? Okay? Some people get dogs so they bark if somebody comes up to the house. But because of our lives, our dogs are pets. And it's our responsibility to protect them. Okay? Come here, Jake. So you guys can root him on if you want. Come on, Jake. Come on. Your dogs at home. A lot of you guys have dogs. All right, it is really easy to teach some tricks. All right, one of the ones that are easiest to teach, that people like a lot, is to teach a dog to sit pretty. All right, if I was using my clicker, I'll show you, I will actually click when he sits pretty. But if you don't have clickers at home, you can just tell your dog, yes. All right, that simple word, if you teach your dog, can actually say, okay, that's what I did. So like to teach pretty, if you guys want to go home and play with your dogs and actually teach them something, you put that piece of food. Now Jake knows this, so it's a little bit harder for me to teach, but I just hold it right there and I go backwards. And he just sits pretty. So that is something that's really easy to teach your dogs at home. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's so cute. All right, so it's fun to do this, and it's actually good for your dog. It actually builds their muscles. You guys have, this is the gym we're in, you guys know push-ups and sit-ups and all that other stuff is good for humans, right? Well, doing this is really good for a dog. Pretty. All right, and then when they stand up, they go ahead and get that treat. If they're having a hard time, Jake knows this, he's been doing it for a long time. If your dog has a hard time sitting up, that may be because their muscles are not very strong in their abdomen, their stomach. Or maybe their balance isn't very good. So don't be afraid to just help them a little bit. And even if 1 foot comes up or 2 feet like that, still treat your dog. Let them know that you think they're doing their best that they can. But it may take a day, a week, it could take a month for the dog to build up their muscles. So don't go really fast. Don't be upset if your dog doesn't get it right away. Most dogs can do this. I don't think I've ever trained a dog who couldn't. And if you guys have little dogs seem to do this really, really fast. The bigger dogs have a harder time. Okay? Okay, good boy. And then one other one, if you're doing that, the next trick you can teach your dog, now he's trying to wave, is he does that sit pretty, then go all the way up. You see how Jake now stands? Good boy. All right, and that's also very, very good for their legs. It's really strong. Yeah? Yes, they can. We actually teach in our Dog Scout troop what's called Canine Fitness. We teach the humans how to protect their dogs, but we also teach the human how to stretch their dog, do massage on their dogs, because a lot of times dogs only go out and run maybe on the weekend. All right? In the human world, we call those weekend warriors. All right? When we work all week and we watch TV, but then on the weekend we go out and we do all kinds of things. All right, that's when people and dogs get hurt the most. It's because they haven't stretched their muscles or they've kind of been lazy during the week, and then that's when animals and people can get hurt. Okay?